My name is Naomi and I'm 18 years old from San Antonio, Texas. I live with my dad, mom, little sister, and grandmother. I was born in Arizona and I lived there for about 5 years, and my little sister was born there also. Later we moved to Sacramento, California and lived there for about a year and a half. Then we moved to San Antonio, Texas, and I've been living here for a little over 10 years. I have a lot of pets and I love all of them. I have 3 dogs, 2 cats, a hamster, and 2 fish. My loving family is very supportive. We're very close and we do everything together. Dancing and sports has been a pretty big part of my life that's been keeping me busy. My mother is from Mexico and there she learned a cultural dance called folklorico. And growing up she taught me how to dance it. I think my favorite part was putting on all the beautiful dresses and feeling so transformed. I was a competitive swimmer in middle school, and in high school I played basketball on the high school girls varsity basketball team. Now my little sister Mia is on a middle school basketball team, and just driving everywhere, bringing her to every practice, game, and tournament gives me a very exciting and busy schedule. I've been homeschooled for 3 years, my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and before that I was public schooled. My dad grew up in a large family as a Christian, and my mom grew up Catholic. When we moved to San Antonio, we became part of Oak Hills Church Crown Ridge campus, and my mom, sister, and I got baptized in 2008 together at the church. God has been the main focus of my life and my family's. My grandmother is my biggest role model. She has gone over to 70 different countries as a nurse practitioner and sharing God's love to others. When I was 12 years old, I went on my first mission trip with my grandmother, aunt, and cousin to the Dominican Republic. There I fell in love with the children's faces as they brightened up with joy when they heard songs and saw skits of God's Word and His love for each one of them. From there I knew I wanted to travel the world and share what God has to say to the people who live in the poorest conditions. In 2012, my parents, sister, and I went to El Salvador with Oak Hills Church. In 2014, we all went to Natal, Brazil. We fell in love with Brazil and its culture. So after we came back home from the mission trip, we were already planning to go the following year in November 2015 with Oak Hills. In 2015, my mom and I had the opportunity to travel with Oak Hills and be the first mission trip to the Philippines. That was such a blessing, seeing how beautiful the Philippine Islands are. November came along and we were all back in Natal, Brazil. We stayed 3 weeks there. First the mission week, then we stayed with members of the church exploring Natal. When I was in Brazil on the mission trip, I had the opportunity to work with the Pais team there. First time working with them was in 2014, and I became good friends with some of the team members, and I was just in awe and the passion they had to work with Pais. Pais has been on my mind since then, and now that I'm 18, finishing high school, I want to experience being on an amazing team and growing together in our faith, while sharing God's love to children in schools. I wanted to know more about Pais, so I went on the website and I watched all the videos. I just fell in love with what Pais stands for and its visions. Natal, Brazil is a place that I could see myself growing in my faith and feeling like I belonged there. And now, the church called Refuge of Grace in Natal that I've worked with is the first international campus of my church, Oak Hills.